Hi everyone, so today we're going to get a little bit artsy here with some Local King rubber stamp stamps and dies and maybe a background stamp and having some fun with the magic mushrooms. So these items were sent free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own. And the link I have with Local King is an affiliate link, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through the link. With them, it's one generic link that takes you to the site, and then I'll have either the number or the name of the set there or the product in the description box also. With the Puffy Cheeks, I believe it is, yeah, it says 1 stamp and 2 dies. It does come as a combo, so you get the stamp and the die together. And we'll talk about this die in just a minute because, again, with Local King, they do some special stuff there. And then I have this big background called the Living Forest stamp, which I think is going to be really fun. So we'll do a little color blending and then we'll stamp, or I don't know if we can do color blending, but I'm going to use some inks with the magic mushroom and then we'll work on this little guy. So yeah, so just to get started, I'm going to grab just some white paper. Now, you know, with color blending, obviously people have their favorites. Maybe you want to use like watercolor paper or some paper, just different ones. I'm just going to use some heavy duty white paper cardstock. I think it came from probably Hobby Lobby is generally where I pick it up, or Michael's. It doesn't matter. Just the heaviest, the better, right? So extra heavyweight or 110 pound, whatever it might say here in the US. That's what I grab. And I'm just going to get a piece that's going to be a little bit larger than, well, just A2 size, 4.5, I'm sorry, 4.25 by 5.5, because I will trim it down because that's what I like to do with my matte layers. But we'll start off with doing some blending. I do have the magic mushrooms here, and I keep mine in just this little heart case. And you know, actually, now that I think about it, when I saw the link last time, I don't remember if it has these little plastic cases anymore, or if that's an option, because I know Lisa has them in different ways that you can pick up the magic mushrooms, like with a stand or with, you know, different things. But she has some new recommendations that I read in the last video, whenever I showed the items that Lisa had sent for review, and just kind of a little primer for you guys, that we should wet them and then use them that way, and that's kind of a new thing. I used to always just use them dry like this. I mean, I do spray them with water, so maybe just having sprayed them with water was getting them kind of that wet consistency that you were looking for. But today we are going to dip it in water and try it out that way, so it's just something different than I've done in the years past. So I'm going to use a brown one. What's so cute is, like, you know, they're like red, yellow, purple. I love that because whenever I use anything brown, I use this one. Whenever it's anything red, or, you know, I use this. I'll just say red or pink, but there is one specifically for pink, as you can see, which is well loved. I've used that one many, many times. Teal, even, like there's a blue, and then there's like this one that's like teal. I just used a marker with the same color and wrote the names on them. But let me grab the paper, let me grab some ink, and we'll get started. So whenever I got those items in, should I say, from Local King, it came with some instructions for the magic mushrooms. Of course, if you order magic mushrooms, it'll come with those instructions. But if you're picking up, you know, stamps and dies, you probably won't get those because there's no need for them, right? So you'll have this also written, but I do see that part of it was to say to dip this in water and get it kind of moist. I will show you the difference, like in the size. So let's say this is like the black one, and you can see kind of the size that they are right now. I just have some water here. I'm gonna dip it in here, pick up a little water. I was gonna say I knew some ink is gonna be there from the last time I used it, so let's look at that. Ooh, I did not clean that off the last time I used it. So let's put that here, and I'm just gonna let that soak in. Wow. I definitely did not clean those off, as you can see. And I just have a paper towel. Oop, I'm already getting some. Good thing we're being a little artsy. It doesn't matter that I have some ink already down there. Look at this. Naughty, naughty Vianney. Okay. I want to see if it does get any larger, or, you know, oh, it already is. I don't know if you can, just slightly, as you can see there. I feel like it's growing as I'm sitting here. But okay, I'm assuming that's wet enough. Now, it doesn't need to be like super duper wet. See, I'm squeezing it and water's not coming out of it, so I think that'll be fine. And actually, whatever's on here, I can probably start working with if I wanted to. But I have this frayed burlap was what I was going to use, so I'm just going to dip into this and grab some color. Ooh, I always forget, and I don't know if this is my frayed burlap or if that's just in general. It has like a greenish tone. Is that just me? I might have mixed it with a different color. Every time I've used that, I always think, oh, it's gonna be nice and brown. Then I'm like, there's a little green. You know, I don't know. Can you see that when it first laid down? It's very green. And honestly, this is the first time I've done this where the whole thing is just wet. I feel like that blends really nicely. I mean, I'm not gonna do color blend, and I want this to be kind of rough. So I'm not doing that today, but I will do that coming up soon. So I just want to lay down some color, but I can see, you know what, it looks different on camera than in real life. Get some color in there. Now this again is just heavyweight cardstock. It's nothing special, but that's what we have. And I wonder if it's also reacting because of the water, and then this being distress ink, you know, it's just a water-based dye ink, so if I was to splash some water on it now, we could pick that up. So it just does it a little different thing. But very good, and that's all I wanted. So I'm just going to dry this with a heat tool. It's not super wet, guys, but it is wet, and I don't want to stamp the background stamp and then have it like leach out, you know. So I'm gonna hit it with a heat tool just to dry it, and I'm going to, let me show you what you can do with this guy is go ahead and rinse it off. Now before, what I used to do is just spray it with a little spray bottle of water and then just kind of pinch off, but as you can see there was still quite a bit of ink left there from the last time. I'm pretty sure I didn't put it away without doing that, so I think it just sucked up that much ink, you know, and when you can do this kind of thing it just kind of dabs off a little bit, but you can just wash it off and then you can just leave it. You know, obviously it's going to dry after a little while and it'll just get back to like this size, but for right now look how much it has expanded, and then it just lets you color blend real easily. Definitely I'll do more color blending, like I said, in the next video, but I do like that, wetting it. Interesting, so I used to always just let them dry like this. Alright, I'll be right back. So, with this big guy, these are cling stamps, and maybe I should have mentioned that in my last video, but I've worked with these. Obviously, Local King, she has videos. Other, you know, folks have videos using Local King items. So, basically that means that you can put this on a stamping press, you can put it on a large, you know, stamping block, if, you know, depending on the size of the stamp, of course. So this guy's a big guy. And if you don't have a stamping press, I'm just going to show you what I would do. I know what I normally do with these. I don't really take the time to mount them. But you just peel this off. You can actually place this back. And it's just this cling, right? It's not sticky. It's not, you know, it just happens to cling to acrylic block material, right? So there it is. But generally, I just leave that on there. Like I said, on these large ones, I don't take the time to use a press, but I will use that in just a minute, actually. So we have this guy. What I'm going to do is just ink it and bring my paper to the stamp. Just easy like that. So Rich Cocoa Memento ink. I'm just going to go with brown just to keep that kind of earthy look, I think, for our little creature. And what's funny is it's called Puffy Cheeks, and I think I called him a squirrel, but if you look at it, he looks kind of more like a chipmunk. I don't know, guys. It's whatever you want. So let me just, with a big stamp like, oh, and if you go like this, you're gonna get like wood grain lines, so that's something you should want to try. But I'm gonna pounce, 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 pounce. And since I'm doing this in one shot, I just want to make sure there's ink everywhere. And I'm just taking this right over the top. And just rub your hand all over the surface. And before you remove it, if you want to take a peek, you can just kind of hold it down like this, and you can still kind of take a peek and see what you think of what that looks like. I think that looks really great. Just making sure we're in the center. I'm at the very end. Look at that. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna go and just wipe this off. You can use like a wet paper towel or something, but just wipe off that Memento ink and I'll be right back. I just wiped it, like literally just wiped it off. Red rubber ink, I mean, it always gives you a great impression. That's the whole reason we all love red rubber ink stamps, and you know, they are pricier, I would say, in some cases. It's just great material. I mean, what are you gonna say? I think Photopolymer is trying to copy this kind of thing, you know, but it's just red rubber stamps. They just stamp really well. I'm going to trim that down a little bit so we have that. So with our little guy, I was debating how I want to color him in. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use black ink. And then this die, what I wanted to say about the dies is that they are so awesome because she gives you this outline, right? So the whole background piece if you want to use it. And then the one that cuts the little guy, it has embossed areas, it has like little stitching lines, it has areas that can be popped up a little bit, like just to give you some more movement. So her dies aren't just like, boom, here you go, it's cut out, there's your shape. It gives you some extra details, you know, just really, really cute. So we will definitely rubber, actually, I'm probably going to put this as a marquee, so I'm going to use a piece of foam, but whatever system you have to die cut with, when you run it through, just do the embossing, you know, part or sandwich after you're done. Let's get this guy here. I think I'm just going to use the other piece of paper from whenever I cut down for my background. And what am I doing? I'll probably just use watercolors, water-based markers to color them in. So just like right there. Her dies generally are right on the edge of the design, so you know, I can put this wherever on this paper. As long as it's on the paper, we're good to go. And I'm gonna use some black hybrid ink. And then, like I said, I'll probably just use a water-based kind of marker and a water brush to color it in. I mean, look at that. So again, her stamps, she has detail. If you're not familiar, there's detail ones. There's like, she has different names for them. Oh, you know what? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, good. I wasn't paying attention. These are thicker. Obviously, they are red rubber cling stamps. And if you put it on your paper, it might just touch the paper already before you actually start pressing. But it was actually up and off, so that's good. I mean, look at that. All that detail. Really lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry and then we'll color in, but in the meantime I'm just gonna again wipe that down and I'll be right back. With cling stamps, you just take it off and let me put this away. You know, I like to show pretty much every step, especially if someone's new, they might not be familiar with these guys. Again, I'll just put this back on its little carrier. It'll stick to it. You don't have to. You can put this on a plastic carrier. Same thing, you know, just if that was a plastic carrier. Actually, I had one here. What did I do with it? Oh well. Just stick it on plastic. But she has that background, so I just put it back on and put it away. Alright, I will be right back to color that guy in. So I have a water brush here. A little bit of paper toweling here. I'm just going to put my colors on a block like this. Oh, looks like I have something on there from the last time I used it. And just go for it. So I have some burnt orange, and I have this guy in front of me for some inspo, you know, for coloring. Just something to think about. So I just put down some color and just pick it up a little bit with a water brush. And again, this isn't anything special, this paper, so it's not going to react like, you know, watercolor paper, so you have to be kind of careful. But I'm just going to go in and add color wherever I think it needs it. And you know, those little lines that are already here really help you color everything in and just make it look really nice. So again, just adding some color here and there. I always try to put the darker of the color like wherever I think the shadow would be and then blending it out from there. Let me see what this bronze one looks like. I do want some like brown for obviously the wood that's down here too, so I kind of want some differentiation with the brown that I'm using here. Oh yeah, that's really kind of a darker feel, you know, than what I'm putting on his little body. And so I'll finish coloring this guy in. And just in here. And then our chestnuts, you know, I'll finish coloring the wood, obviously same brown. And then we have, let's say, some greenery. Something called pine forest. Right in the center, and then bring it out. And again, this is not watercolor paper or anything special, so you kind of have to work with it a little bit. Yeah, so I'll do some greenery there and just continue coloring him in, you know, kind of echoing what's going on here. Maybe I'll bring a little golden yellow kind of color in there. Maybe this one, oops, to help us give him a little more personality, kind of like what's in there. So that would be something like, put a little bit of that color down. And in here, his little hands. Okay, so I'll just finish coloring him in. I'll be back. I just had fun with the different colors, kind of mixing them up a little bit, giving him some different hues here and there. And again, we have the outer one. I don't know if I'm going to use this one today or not, but we will see. So this guy, I did hit this with a heat tool because obviously I was using some very wet products. Now I can see pretty well, like I can see the little acorn here, I can see the edge of the leaf. I mean, you might still be a little bit off, so if you want to make yourself a window, you can definitely do that. And let me see what I do with this. Oh, okay, so I'm going to cut this down a little bit smaller. Oh, so I might have a drop shadow for him if I want to use it because of what I'm doing right now. So instead of maybe the outline dye, I'll use this drop shadow, and let's put some tape. Let's run this guy through. Let me back up just a little bit. And I'll just run this through. Oh, which reminds me, I'll probably get some foam for when I run him through the next time, so that he'll have that embossing. Oh my gosh, okay, so cute. So maybe this will give you an idea of where it cuts and how it cuts, and look at that. So obviously this piece is going to be popped out. Lots of, you know, intricate pieces so that it looks a lot more delicate, your die cut, instead of just being like, you know, a big old die cut. And then some little areas you can pop up. You can definitely take that apart if you want to, that kiss cut, and have his little arm kind of up, right? Let me grab the foam. I'll be right back. And this is just particular to this marquee. The way I get embossed features are to use a piece of foam when I run it through, so, or is to use a piece of foam, but either way, I'm going to open that up. Do not detach it, and you'll get a lot closer than you would have if you just kind of eyeballed it. And what you do is use that little window to help you kind of see what's going on in there, where you're going to be cutting. And when you're happy, hold that down, pop this back down, making sure it's in that groove, right? If you just pop it down and it moved, then you're gonna have some issues there. It's not gonna be where you thought it was. So I just kind of hold that down, right? And hopefully it didn't move. And then I'm also gonna run it through again with a piece of just like craft foam. I mean, you used to be able to find that at the Dollar Tree every once in a while. Definitely in the craft section, like with the kids stuff. So, and I'm running it that way because I want that embossing. Of course, if you're using a different machine, like I said, use the embossing sandwich that you would normally use with your machine after you cut your die out or however. And it goes all the way through, as you can see. So if you wanted to use that for dimension, you can definitely, or you can just leave it like this and reuse this. Like you can cut over on top of, on top of it again, and it'll be there. But as you can see, my paper has like little embossed areas. That's all we were looking for. So let's remove this. And then, you know, my friends here say whenever they do this, they sometimes just keep the little guiding window to help you for next time. Oh, it's delicate, like I said, so let's just get this guy out of here. All right. And you can then keep this same kind of flippity-floppity piece for next time, okay? I'm gonna pull this out here carefully. Oh my goodness, look at that. Again, all those pieces fall out, and now your die doesn't just cut, it has texture and stitching and all that kind of stuff, so you can just kind of pop that up once it's on your project if you want to, right? The little hand, you can also just pick that up. But let me put some things away. I'm going to trim this down probably closer to the matte layer here that's on there, so maybe just under the 4 1/8, maybe 4 by 5 1/4, and then some kind of matte layer, maybe some brown paper or black paper or something. That would then be my 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, because that's what I prefer for an A2 size card. But I'll be right back. Let's glue down our base layers here. So I have an A2 size card from Craft Cardstock, but this is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 for that A2 size. And then I have this little guy. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun to just kind of rough up the edges to make it look a little more artsy? Yeah, so you can definitely take something like this, or, you know, an actual thing that helps you make it look kind of rough and a little more rustic, right? Why not? Especially for a card like this, that's fun. And I do have tools especially for that, but of course I just used my scissors. So let's go ahead and glue this guy down, and 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 on that matte layer, and then this one is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll glue this right on top also. So I'll be right back. Okay, so there's that card base. I did put the larger circle kind of down towards the bottom. I don't know. Actually, you know, we can put this. I didn't plan on making it a landscape card, but how cute is that? Because I was going to finish it off with a sentiment. I have this: today is a great day, but that'd be cute. Let's do it this way. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to use that background piece. Remember I had mentioned that whenever I cut the aperture, I thought, oh, you can use that as a drop shadow. So we can definitely do that. What I'm going to do is, let me see if I can get this piece through here. Can I get that in there? Oh, I wonder how much drop shadow I can get with still using the line. I'll just leave it. I was going to try to get that pop through here also, but I'm going to just leave it alone. But I am going to do one thing. I'm going to pop it open just because I do want to put a little dimensional adhesive under his little arm, and I don't want this being extra thick holding it down. Hope that makes sense. So let's put the glue on this guy, and I'm just going to put glue. Oh, I didn't even finish popping these bits out, you guys. That's so funny, because on the back side you can see that very clearly, right? There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to glue these guys together with a really kind of nice drop shadow. I'm probably not going to glue his little arm down because I want to play with that in a minute. So I didn't put glue on his little arm area, okay? And then we will take this guy. I think everything's popped out of that one. Give ourselves a good amount of drop shadow so it does differentiate. And I'm putting the black up towards the top. You see that? Okay. And I'm just going to hold it down until that stays together. And I'll be right back. So let's bring this back. And I just held that down. And again, I had popped his little hand over, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to pop this up. Unless you leave that black background. We could do that. I didn't think about that. I was just going to remove it. You know what? I'm going to leave it. I'll leave it there, and I'm just going to pop up his little hand with a little bit of dimensional adhesive, and even a piece like this is probably a little too much, so I'm just going to cut that in half and put this back there just to pop up his little hand. How cute. Okay, and so I'm just going to actually glue that down straight so that I have some dimension on the sentiment. So there we go. And I mean, you can also put more dimensionals like behind like that little acorn, things like that. I do like the look of a card that has like some different dimensions. Like that little acorn was popped up. That would look really cute. Right now we just have his little hand, so I'm gonna hold that down. And then this guy, all I did was just put some dimensional adhesive on it, and I think it'll be somewhere like that. Yeah. So I'll continue holding this down. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, there's our fun, artsy little card. Just finished off with a simple sentiment, and you know, you can even get your tool in here and pick up that little leaf a little more if you would like. Just so pretty, so different. The designs Local King comes up with are very artsy, timeless, just totally different than your everyday designs that you see. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, I'll have the link that goes right to their site, and then I'll have listed the different items that I used today. So thanks for watching, guys. With the magic mushrooms, I will say, you know, check out Lisa's videos. I definitely stick with like dye inks, like what you saw, like the Tim Holtz Distress inks or things like that. The oxide inks, the pigment inks, you can definitely use them, but you have to wash them as soon as you're done using them, because those are the kind of things that do deposit pigments, right, into your blending tools and your anything, right? So you always want to get rid of those pretty quickly. So definitely wash those out as soon as you use them. With the dye inks, as you saw mine, I'm pretty sure I washed it, but if I didn't, either way it still worked and it was fine, and it's been a while since I used that particular blending, the brown one, you know, so it's not as critical. But if you are planning on using those blending ones with oxide inks, pigment inks, definitely wash them out. You should wash them anyway, so, but just be very careful with them. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have images coming up. I'll have the link, like I said, in the description box, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.